Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to Eleanor from the film Gone in 60 Seconds. The question is, what exactly does it take to make one of these? So what exactly are we up to today? Well, I've come along to South Coast Mustangs, which isn't that far away from where I live, to explore a world that I know not a huge amount about, but I'm keen to learn. Mustangs, in particular, the Eleanor. Now, if you've seen the film Gone in 60 Seconds, this is an iconic car from that movie. And what Damon does here at South Coast Mustangs, along with a lot of other projects, is he makes Eleanor recreations for some of his clients. And I thought it'd be really interesting to look at what exactly goes into the making of such a beautiful car. And at the end of the film, we'll take a look around this one because this car is pretty much finished. It's actually having a few final bits done before it goes up for sale. In fact, it is actually up for sale now. I'll put details in the description below if you're interested. But what exactly goes into making one of these? Now, I need to be quick in this film because if I'm not, this car could be gone in 60 seconds. I promise that's the last bad gag of the video. Now then, before we take a look round here at South Coast Mustangs and all the incredible work that Damon does with real-world Mustangs and Eleanors, you could make an Eleanor yourself. This video has been sponsored by Fan Home, who have a range of collectibles and build-up models from brands such as Marvel and Star Wars. If you go to their website, you can have a look at all the things that they have on offer, but they have an Eleanor model. So if you go to the website, choose the build-up model or collection you want, subscribe, and then every month you will get some parts of your model and a magazine. In the first month, you're going to get 2 build stages and a magazine. That's my first month just here. And from month 2 onwards, you get 4 build stages and a magazine. There's also a range of free gifts that you will get through, including a license plate, a mug, a poster, and they'll be dropped through in various months. The model itself is 8th scale. It's going to be 58 centimeters long and weighs 8 kilos when it's finished. I mean, I only have to pick up the bonnet, which is in this pack, and it's got some real weight to it. It's full of incredible detail, both inside and out. A really special thing to build up over time. So if you're interested, I will put links in the description below and in a pinned comment. Click on that link, head over to the Fan Home website, select your model, subscribe, and start building. Let's go and find out though how you build one in the real world. And we're going to start off with the donor car, and that's over this way. Now then, one of the things I love about coming to workshops like this is there's just so much going on. Where do you start to build an Eleanor replica? Well, first thing you need is a 1967-68 Mustang Fastback. And there are about, I can see, 4 or 5 of them in here, but I'm going to talk to you about this one. Now, 2 reasons. This is a 67 Fastback. This isn't actually going to be an Eleanor because this originally was a Bullet car. Steve McQueen, you know me, Bullet, one of the coolest car films ever, perhaps the best movie chase of all time. And this was a beautiful, fully restored Bullet. And then it had a bit of a whoopsie, had a massive accident, and the front end of this car, I won't show you too much detail, but from pretty much from this point onwards has had to be completely replaced. And one of the things Damon's doing is it would have been very easy just to write this car off and put it in a scrap heap, but the owner really wanted to bring the car back. And Damon took it on and said, I don't actually really know just how much work's involved and whether I can do it or not. But bit by bit, slowly by slowly, things are happening. So the engine was toast, that's having some work done and so on. The front end of the car is brand new. The roof line, even just things like getting the roof, that was bent because of the massive impact. This is a door from a different car. And then the rear end of the car, all of this is new as well. So there's your starting point. First up, you need as good a 1967-68 Fastback as you can. So you've got your donor car. Next thing you need to do is start to add some body kits to it to give it that classic Eleanor shape and style. And it just so happens that over there's a car that's, well, actually that's in a further state of strip down than this one, but we can start to look at some of the body kits. So let's head on over that way. Now this one, this one's having a bit of work done. So this body shell, first up, this car's having a complete, almost no holes barred, nothing is too much detail restoration. And one of the things, now I should probably say at this point, why isn't Damon with me? Damon doesn't really, camera's not his thing. He's off busy working and he's quite happy for me to show you around his workshop, and I'm much appreciative of that and of his time, but he's a busy guy. There's an awful lot of projects on and he's off concentrating on those while I show you around. But this car, for example, is having a brand new floor. The new floor is actually leaning against the wall over there. You know, you start taking these cars apart and start taking them down, even things like just taking the factory welds off. You would think from factory it was fine, but even that's been challenging with this car. But what's quite cool is the white bits that you can see, so these side sills down here, which come all the way here, and there's a hole here because that's where the exhaust is going to go. The rear arches, the car doesn't have any front wings on, but it would have arches on there as well. And then even little bits like this. So all the trim pieces, they're basically just trimmed fiberglass. This is the side scoop that's going to go just here. Now, interestingly, it is fake, unfortunately. I know we don't like our fake vents in modern day cars. It has a trim piece on there, so it looks really, really cool, but it doesn't have any actual function. And then I guess the signature bulge and sloping droop bonnet on the front there. But I want to walk around the side, around that side, and just show you something that and again, this is a factory thing, but for me, the thing that struck me before we even turned the cameras on, I've been talking and walking around the workshop with Damon for quite a lot of time, just understanding what he does. His attention to detail is a little bit beyond obsessive, actually. Everything's got to be right, and I think that's really cool. And for his clients who are investing a lot of money in something like this, that's why they take such a long time to get right, because nothing is too much detail. And you look at this and the amount of work just to kind of get everything ready before it even goes to the spray shop is amazing. But let's just head over there. I just want to show you something on the rear seam of where the roof meets that rear C-pillar. Now, I'm going to probably use a little bit of B-roll to show you this, but I just find it fascinating, and it also shows the amount of work that's needed to bring one of these to kind of showroom condition. This here, these are the spot seam welds from factory that would have been done back in 1967, 68. And they come down here, and that holds the roof onto this rear three-quarter panel. But it's when Damon was bringing this back and pairing it back to metal, just here, there's this massive kind of imperfection that's just been filled with lead. I mean, there's bits of lead just here. And I guess your options are, the easy option would be, well, we'll just cover that with filler and spray over it. No, Damon doesn't do things like that. So basically, he's going to take this whole rear wing panel off. And what we've got here, if I can get you into shot, we've got a new one just there. So it's having brand new wings on the back, just to make sure that the quality is perfect. So, you know, you're not just, you know, covering up imperfections with a bit of filler and then covering it with paint. This is proper back to bare metal, beautifully finished underneath and then put into paint. But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done on this one. So once the bodywork is all prepped, once the new sills and the wings and the arch extensions and the bonnet, once they're all on and they're all ready, next door is the paint booth. So why don't we head on into the paint booth and I'll show you the next step. But that, for me, I just find that fascinating. The amount of work. I'm not a patient kind of guy. And you just look at this and go, my goodness me, that's an awful lot of work. I also don't have the imagination to look at this and be able to see it finished. It just would overwhelm me, I think. Even to the point where you think there's there's hours and hours and hours of work to get it to this point, and there's still hours of work left to get it to the point where we can go and spray it. I find that fascinating. Now, we're now in the spray booth, although there's still quite a lot of work before this one will actually be sprayed. But there's a huge amount of work gone on since the last stage to this one. So all the body panels are now fitted. All of the prep work and the sanding and the smoothing has been done around them so that they look really, really nice and fully integrated. And then you look on the inside and there's really important things like it's got a floor. It's got places to put stuff. This is also a right-hand drive car like the previous one. So you can do left or right-hand drive. Quite a few customers of Damon's will request a right-hand drive car. Clearly here in the UK, that has its advantages. But then yes, then this, once it's finished, will be ready for paint, and then you can refit the interior. And there's a huge amount of customization and stuff that the customers will do on the interior side of things. And then also in terms of the engine that's put in them. But just very briefly going back to my fan home Eleanor model, because I've got this. This is the front bumper from my model, 1/8 scale, and I've actually got a front bumper from the actual Eleanor just here, just to give you an idea of the size difference. I think this one's probably easier to take home. So now we've kind of seen some of the stages, why don't we go out and have a look at the Eleanor that's out there. Although it's not drivable and it's having some work done, we can take a look around some of the details and yeah, see what it's like when it's finished. And eventually, after many hundreds of man hours, you end up with something like this, a finished Eleanor. Such an iconic car, very cool. I haven't driven one. I've actually been a passenger in one. A good friend of mine had one of these up until quite recently and then sold it. Anyway, just such a cool car. And what I like about it is clients come to Damon and spec one of these, and it's a real journey for them. They can tweak them, and I don't think it's just a blank canvas, there's an Eleanor. Every single one's going to be different. They're going to have some similarity on the outside, the same kind of paint, the stripes down the side, to get that Eleanor look. But there's a huge amount of customization work that can be done on the inside. What kind of seats do you want? What kind of dash do you want? Do you want a sound system? This car's got a roll cage. It's got some really cool speakers in the back. It's got a stunning interior, actually. The seats are very cool with Sparco racing harnesses. I just love the look of the inside. And then final thing, and maybe most importantly, is what are you going to have under the bonnet? So let's take a quick look at the underside of this bonnet, because it's rather special. Unfortunately, we can't drive this car. As you can probably see, it's up on jacks at the moment. It's having some work done on the front end on brakes and suspension, preparing it for sale, but we can have a look underneath the bonnet. Behold the magnificence. So that is a Roush 427 V8. It's running around about 500 horsepower and about 500 foot-pounds, and that's all going through a Tremec 6-speed manual gearbox. I mean, come on. I mean, just, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's just awesome to look at. You know, modern day engines in a way are so soulless, aren't they? They've got these big plastic covers over them, or, you know, heaven forbid, you've got an electric motor. No, not this. It's a proper big muscle V8. Absolutely stunning thing. Really, really beautiful. So yeah, this is, if you like, the ultimate Eleanor. Now, as I said, this car's actually for sale. So I'll put a link down in the description below for Damon and South Coast Mustangs. If you are interested, then, you know, hit him up and ask some questions, because I don't think it's a million miles off of being ready for actual sale. It's just got a few little bits to do, but it's a beautiful thing. Even just things like the bonnet hinges here, they're just total works of art. It's beautiful in here. Oh, proper engine. Absolutely proper engine. Just a shame we can't hear it really, but maybe that will be for another video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I've got to say massive thanks to Damon for letting me poke around the workshop today. He's such a busy guy. He's got so many projects on. It's really very kind of him to let me come in and take up some of his time showing me around. But my day spent here, the one thing that's become massively apparent is his attention to detail. His desire to get it right is just unbelievable, almost to his detriment sometimes, I think. Everything is just super, super perfectionist. I mean, talk about OCD. That guy has, I think he's got CDO, because OCD, all the letters are in the wrong order, right? Amazing. So massive thanks to Damon. You are a legend, sir. But yes, if you enjoyed that, then please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you on the next one. And maybe, who knows, we'll get in one of these for real in another video. I've got a very, very nice Mustang coming to the channel in about 4 or 5 weeks time, a modern one, but it's ridiculous. So stay tuned for that if you like your Mustang action, but I'll see you on the next film, guys. You take care. Drive safe.